While I let one of my failed attempts go through the background, I just wanted to give a little exposition onto why I'm making this video. I truly both love and hate speedrunning Twisted Metal Black. It's at times so fun, and I really cannot get enough of it, and I want to run it day after day, hour after hour. But there are times where frustration and just general AI quirks kind of ultimately get the better of me, and this is definitely one of those times. This is a run it hurts me to my core. Everything, and I truly mean almost everything, was going my way. A very quick junkyard, a smooth and swift suburbs, a highway loop where the AI actually cooperates. All of it was just coming together, but eventually it was just ruined, and I kind of wanted to just go over like what this run was and could have been, because if it did not fail, this would have been my best run, and I don't think there's anything that would have topped it. And I truly mean absolutely nothing that would have been a better run than this. So I decided to fulfill my everlong dream of getting a medium world record with Darkside, and that is exactly where this starts off. I have been trying to get this record for so long. I have fought hour after I have put so much time into it that I still refuse to give up, but it's going to be a bit hard. But obviously, we're going to start off with a swift kill onto Outlaw. Outlaw constantly freezing and him being a general nuisance is just terrible, so we have to get him out of the way first. And I know I'm a bit of a slow killer here, but eventually we do get Junkyard Dog. Just his health is just entirely gone within just a few weapons, which we really love to see. Next, of course, we work on Manslaughter because of his general tankiness and speed. Allows him to not really die quickly, but once you get a hold of him, you can definitely keep him in place. Getting a little bit battered and bruised, I needed a heal. So after that, I go to my favorite spot where there's another utility weapon for me. Warthog is basically asking for death, so I give it to him, and then Shadow just makes a timely appearance. And since I have no one else to kill, really, I mean, what am I gonna do? Say no? It's a free kill. If only I had the weaponry, though, which leads Spectre to be the one to actually be in receiving of the killing with a chef's kiss of a bank shot bonus. And, of course, with the rest of the AI kind of just grouping up together, it made it easy pickings for the other two. Moving on to suburbs, we got a fairly lucky start where we can get a few mega bullets and gas barrels, power missiles, and the utilities if we so choose, which I almost always do because the more weapons on this map, the better. It can take so long to get a good arsenal that getting one right off the bat is very strong, as you can see by us demolishing Sweet Tooth from full health to none in barely just a few seconds. And of course, Junkyard Dog is just off to the side, so we can't really neglect him, and we definitely don't by blowing him up practically immediately. He could not do anything. His AI never really allows you to do anything because he's a free kill, like, I'd say good 90% of the time. Moving deeper into the town, we find our good buddy Axel, who we very luckily kill with him kind of being trapped. It does take a little bit longer than necessary, but, I mean, it's Axel. What are you going to do? Just murder him in one shot? Hell no, he's never going to let that happen. And once we collect a few weapons, another kill basically just props itself onto a silver platter in the form of Shadow. One satellite, one barrel, and she's pretty much almost dead. Something we need to remember for later if we ever have a few weapons to spare. Spectre, usually a character that doesn't fight on this map unless she's left alive, kinda decided to be a bit of a nuisance. It was hard to tell if she wanted to fight, if she wanted to stay, if she wanted to run, what she wanted to do. So she definitely ran circles around me. But thankfully, I was able to try and put a stop to it until she ramped me and almost got away. But thankfully, homing missiles always have my back. With the amount of enemies dwindling one by one, there isn't much left. Every car on the map currently is very weak, or at least in terms of armor, meaning just a few weapons will just quickly get rid of them. And this is medium mode, so it's not really going to be too much of a problem. And this right here is why I was so devastated about losing that run. A double T-slide kill on Brimstone and Grim, and finishing it off with a in-the-air land T-slide onto Shadow. That was one of the most beautiful plays I have ever done, and it now is gone. Its only memory is going to be affixed to fucking agony and pain. But that is what we will get to in the future. Highway Loop being normally a very finicky map for the AI was surprisingly kind here. I didn't have too many problems. There were a few times where the AI just decided to be absolutely ruthless, but as you can see, sometimes even when they are at their most annoying, they're still easily killable. Grim being the tiny nuisance he is, I've gotten him on basically every map, by the way. Remember that. He doesn't like to fight, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't I'm pretty sure he doesn't fight ever, but thankfully he does decide to jump, which is his downfall. So that's 3 people dead already, and we are barely a minute into the map. Thankfully, Shadow kind of just runs away and doesn't do her normal stuff, where she just spams her special at you, and she's just a general nuisance on this map alone. But with a little trick I've been trying to perfect, I'm able to easily fool Sweet Tooth into falling down. Spectre, she is just easily pushed, and then eventually Shadow comes and also falls to the exact same fate as 6 others. I have not actually killed a single person yet. I'm about to be on Minion 8 minutes in. Scratch that, by the way. I am actually going to be at Minion at around 7:30 because both of these 2 morons just gaggle up together and allow me to repeatedly brutalize them with my missiles. It did look close and I was about to die, but thankfully I barely pulled it off, leaving me entering Minion 7:33. And, of course, with Minion being his usual, terrible, garbage AI self, was where this all started to go wrong. Usually, the strat with Minion is you would get right up beside him and try to kind of glitch him out in a way that he turns and shows you all of his panels. As you will soon see, he does not let that happen. He faces me 70% of the time, and he doesn't turn away. And it's a miracle I was able to get 2 panels. I'm sorry, 3 panels. I only thought I got 2, but even then, I was so desperate to escape. My heart was racing, and I was not thinking properly. I tried to get the health, and it did not work out. The secret health where you have to stand still and jump takes way too long for me to actually properly get off. Even with his shield gone, it is still an absolute fight to get his health done because he is so tanky and I have no weapons. Even a full damage satellite only does about 25% of his health, where others it would do upwards of 50, 60, even 70, depending on who you're hitting. And with my panicked state, I was just firing off missiles, none of them hitting, and my heart was just sunk. I still had faith, but when I sealed Minion's death, I also sealed my downfall. See, when it comes to the next map, Prison Passage, it starts off a 1v2, 1v2, then 1v4, and the first two enemies you fight are the most crucial. And of course, the first two enemies I get placed with are Mr. Grimm and Spectre. I think you can tell exactly how a matchup like this would turn out. I don't think I need to say just how devastating dealing with that is. I started Prison Passage, the fifth map out of 8, 10 minutes in. If I did not die on Minion, I would also have, I think it was 2 or 3 environmentals to save to Snowy Roads. Suffice it to say, if this run did not die at Minion, and get obliterated at Prison Passage because of Grimm, the three-wheeled fuck that can't do anything but puss out and run away every fucking time, I am confident this would have been a sub 20-minute run. This would have been the world record, and no one could have done anything to stop it except for Grimm running away again.